United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call for a roll call.
Newberry.
Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Johnson. Lees.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We now have our consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Our administrator has returned from Texas, so you
They have
have a
good-
report.
There's good beef, good Tex-Mex, and I brought home lots of ideas.
Okay, well, that's great.
So, but other than that, no.
Okay, thank you.
Where's his cowboy hat?
Mike, Public Works.
Had a main break, replacing hydrants, working on sidewalks, working on the trail down there for the pollinator field, forming up some stuff for the fire department for the fire training. That's about it.
Report from police.
Don't have anything tonight.
Thank you. Anything on, Kelly, did we have anything on either fire or building department?
Nothing, not that I have tonight, no.
Okay, thank you. Or anything from you?
No.
Angie? No? Okay. Brad? Anything from you? He's good. Okay. Go through and ask for the council reports, so,
Nothing tonight.
oh, okay. Andy?
Two quick things. Number one, I sent out an email that has the list of the first tournaments out at the Courts Center, so those starts here pretty soon. I've asked for them to give us a report back on about how many hotel rooms and teams come from out of town after those, so we should get a report back on that. And then number two, I won't say the business name publicly, but I had a message that there was a company out in Beaverdale whose insurance went down $50,000 a year through us providing auto aid out there. So I know they're not located in West Burlington, but they have employees that live here and business owners that live here. So I thought I would pass that along so you knew what happened.
Thank you. Therese?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Melanie?
Just wanted to thank everybody for the visioning committee and who showed up last Thursday out at Homestead, 1882. They did a nice job hosting the event from what it looked like to me. We had good representation from the council and the city folks. Mike was there and a few others. Would have been nice to have a little more community input or representation. But we've got some good ideas to work from, and at our next, we'll flesh them out and see what our go forward is as part of our capital planning in the next weeks. So just wanted to thank them for hosting us and thank them for hosting us. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you. I don't think I have anything to report, so. We do have a community report from the Burlington Public Library, so I would ask the head librarian, Brittany Jacobs, if she'd come forward and talk to us.
Hello, do you mind if I have a seat?
Go right ahead.
All right. And you all should have gotten a packet with some of the slides that I had.
It should be in your,
It's all,
Sorry, okay.
email.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I gave this report to the Burlington City Council back in August, which is historically when the annual fiscal report is given. I am looking at switching that to October because October is when we file with the state, and so that's when we have all of our data sets together. August's report were really anecdotal, which is helpful, but I think that data is also very powerful. So moving forward, I hope to come to West Burlington and any of our contracting cities to give a fiscal report to show how far we stretch our dollars and all the services that we offer this community. This was the 138th year of a governing board with the Burlington Public Library, so 138th fiscal report, which is a fabulous history for public libraries. I'll talk a little bit about our funding coming up in the future, but I do sincerely hope that we have 139th and 140th and 150th and ongoing reports to give to councils. Page 2 outlines our monthly reports. These are always available on our website, as is the fiscal report. Page 3 is an outline of the year with some of our highlight events. The fiscal year straddles summer reading, so fiscal year 23 ended with summer reading 2022, and we had off the beaten path theme, so it was an outdoor theme last summer. We moved down to the Iowa Governor's STEM grant. We received an aquaponics system, which is a big 40-gallon fish tank that we have in our lobby of the library, and it has a hydroponics system above the fish tank, and so it's a self-sustaining environment between the fish and the plants, and we're using that for a lot of STEM education. We have a staff member who sits on the state board of directors for the Iowa Governor's STEM Council. And so we have a strong partnership with that entity, and we often receive grants from them. We also received 60 finches, which are small little computer components that teach kids basic coding, all the way up through Java and Python coding. But it's a really approachable way to teach some of these STEM ideas, and it's a gamified way of learning. So it's a really fabulous thing to offer at an informal learning space like the library. In October of last year, we were certified as sensory inclusive, and we're going for certification again. This helps the staff to be prepared for anybody who has any kind of sensory processing issues. It also helps us keep ourselves up to date with ADA compliance. We were the second library in the state to receive the certification, and like I said, we're going for recertification this month. We received a space consultation grant from the state library, and we're in the process of implementing some of the data points given by this space consultant. Essentially what we're doing is we're shifting some of the shelving to create more gathering spaces, and this is also going to be folded into our next 5-year strategic plan, which we're working on currently. We partnered with the Lego Foundation last Christmas, and throughout the month of December, when kids came to the Brickmasters program, if they built a little present with Legos, and we took a picture of it and posted it online with the hashtag #BuildToGive, the Lego Foundation donated a Lego kit to a kid in a refugee camp. This was a really exciting partnership because it kind of busted open the idea of what philanthropy is and who can donate. A lot of people have a giving spirit, but they might not actually have extra cash on hand to give. So this also kind of gets rid of the age parameters on who can give. And so it was an empowering program to showcase this idea of community bonding and global citizenry with Lego bricks, which is really fabulous. In January, we went fine-free officially. We had gone fine-free during the pandemic as a way to remove barriers for people, and it turns out that research shows that when you go fine-free, the return rate goes up. It removes the barrier that a lot of people have in visiting the library, let alone using the library. In tandem with that, to build in some sort of insurance to get our materials back, we have escalated our lost fee. So if an item is overdue for more than 7 days, you're charged for that full price item, and that's kind of the built-in insurance to make sure that we do get our materials back. We also debuted new library cards in January. We opened up a seed library in February, and we're about to do a seed saver program with our pollinator garden, which is down on the lower level of the library by our drive-through window, and we'll stock the seed library with those seeds from the pollinator garden. In March was the biggest piece of the year, with the big photo of the rubber duck behind the building. We got all of our proverbial ducks in a row, migrated what we had hoped would be 175,000 data records, and it turned out to be 500,000 data records. It was a mess. but it was the first time that we upgraded our ILS, which is our integrated library system, which is the software we use to manage all of our items. So we just tipped about 180,000 items in the library that you can check out. And every single item has a MARC record, which is full of metadata. And so moving over 500,000 MARC records proved to be a challenge, but the staff was up for it. We're still smoothing out some of the wrinkles, but this is going to be a huge relief on our budget. The previous system was incredibly expensive, and we had to partner with several third parties to help navigate it. So this is a really smart financial move for us. And it's also a little bit more user-friendly, and it looks like it was created in this century. The previous system was DOS, and it looked like it was DOS, so it was good all around. It was an immense amount of work. In the spring last year, we opened up our story walk, which is in Crapo Park. And I had talked with one of the West Burlington folks, I think it was a rep from Tree City, Trees Forever, who's working with you on some of your visioning, for greenifying or beautifying some of your spaces. And Story Walk was mentioned, so I would be happy to kind of explore some of those ideas with West Burlington if that suits your interests. And then we finished off this fiscal year with summer reading. The NCAP was June 2023. We broke a lot of records, the biggest of which was our dinosaur program we hosted down at the port. It was Jurassic Burlington, and we had over 1,000 kids down there to see dinosaurs, which is our single largest program that we've hosted. So it was a fabulous year, a lot of change, a lot of big movements happening in the library, but it was a great year overall. This fourth page in your packet showcases all of the partners. I'm really proud of this page because it shows how far-reaching we are as an entity. We partner with a lot of community organizations. We partner with Homestead 1832, like you were just mentioning. We also have state-level partners, national-level partners, and international partners. We're a far-reaching library, and we partner with people who are experts. Some of the big names on this list is Titanic Belfast. That's the preeminent museum on the Titanic, and they partnered with us for our Vacation Through Time Titanic program that we had this last April. So there's a lot of really fabulous people there that help elevate everything that we do and ensure that we have really quality services for our community members. Page 5 outlines who we serve. We have Des Moines County. This is on the left-hand side there. We contract with you all, with the county, Middletown, and Mediapolis is folded into the county. So the only folks in Des Moines County who cannot access the Burlington Public Library are Danville city limit folks. And I am working doggedly with the state to try and figure out a way to fold them into the mix as well. Outside of that, we contract with the 4 closest counties in Illinois. Those families can purchase a year membership for $60, and that's these 4 counties listed in Illinois. So we have a really far-reaching service area. We pull in a lot of folks. And then anyone with a library card in Iowa can use any other public library in the state. So it kind of opens up the field that way. And then when you look at ILL, we can get a book from any library on the planet. So it's, again, far-reaching. Page 6 goes over some of the numbers, and I'll let you read through those on your own, but we're really proud of these numbers, particularly considering we're still on the tail end of a pandemic, and that was catastrophic on a lot of public libraries. But to see these kind of numbers shows that we're doing something right and people are utilizing this library. Page 7 gets into the nitty-gritty. So page 5 was who we serve. Page 6 was kind of an overview of what we do, and this is page 7, how we do that. We get a city budget from Burlington of about $1.5 million. 284 of that goes into operations. And your portion, which is about $50,480 annually, gets folded into our operations budget. But the thing is that only our operation budgets of 284 only covers a portion of what it actually costs to run the library. So those numbers highlighted in purple are private dollars that we bring in through our foundation and through the Friends group. I included this pie graph because we were on a trajectory of the private inching closer and closer and closer to that 50% mark, which has consequences for our accreditation as far as the state level goes. So they look at our operating budget, and when private dollars cover more than half of that, then some of the other federal funds we don't have access to. And so we're trying really hard to keep public dollars for public services. But we do have an immense amount of people who don't donate dollars, donate time in their volunteerism, who help keep this library afloat and keep it elevated at the excellent level that we do currently operate. The big number on the bottom is the value we get from that $284,000 operating budget. So with the ALA, the American Library Association, in tandem with another state library association, they've come up with this value-added calculator that takes what you put into your collection and the resources that folks have, and with meeting room access, program access, classes and events they can attend, books, databases, and it showcases the value that your community gets from that money. So we are a good bet. We're a good investment as a city entity. We stretch those dollars. Everything that we do, we cross-check against our mission statement, our policies, and we do a lot of community and demographic data research to make sure that what we do lands with who we are serving. And then the last slide are just a few photos from the year, along with our mission statement. And I ended my presentation for Burlington by saying, we're the heart of the community because the community is at the heart of everything that we do. We take our jobs very seriously at the library, and we are awfully frugal and awfully proud of what we're able to pull off with the resources that we're given from the cities. Now, House File 718, I don't know if you've all talked about that as much as we're talking about it in Burlington, but it did eliminate the library levy, which carries about $197,000 of our budget, which is significant. It's going to be a big blow. So we're looking at alternative revenue sources to fund the library. I'm also being very mindful about the contracting cities, and if we do have to get to the point where we eliminate services, I want to make sure that everything remains equitable across the board, because you are still paying into this 10-year term that you have signed with us. So we've got some hard decisions ahead of us, but Chad Bird is working real hard with me and some of the other departments to try and shimmy some things around and figure out a way to sustain this, because it's going to come in waves, and fiscal year 29 is really going to be when the hammer falls, and we've got some dire situations in front of us if we don't figure out an alternative revenue source before then. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you've got any.
Just a quick couple. The STEM kits based around teaching kids basic coding, what age groups are those set for?
They're scalable. So it starts with block coding, which you can teach as young as like 4 or 5. And they're all gamified. So the first one we got were bee bots. They're these little bumblebee robots that you have to code to get from the hive to the apple tree or wherever they're going to pollinate. But they can be scaled up to high school level coding.
And the visitors and items circulated last year, how does that compare to previous years?
It's up. I don't know. When I have all the final numbers in October, I can hold them up to the final numbers last year. And I'd be happy to come back or at least send over that final report to all of you. Have you historically gotten that final state report?
I'm not sure if historically, but I think they did last year, but.
I've never seen historical numbers like graphing that, the visitors and items circulated are the two I'd be interested in, just to kind of see how things are going.
Yeah, I'd be happy to send that over.
Okay, great. And then last mention, on your sponsors page or partners page,
Yes.
It'd be great to be listed on there.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yes. Sorry, I do not list the 2080.
Yeah, I don't even think the city of Burlington's on there, but for future,
No, I guess kind of like
future use.
lump us all into one like collective unit. And
Yeah.
But yeah, I will definitely start including West
Thanks for
Burlington.
being here, and thanks for coming to 4th of July every year, too. That's great to have you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any organization in Iowa that's putting a little pressure on our representatives to see if we can maybe do something about this?
Yeah, the Iowa Library Association has 2 lobbyists who work very hard during the legislative session. The problem with House File 718 is that it's signed and done. And now it's going to be going into this next legislative session. If they do remove the 1% sales tax, that's going to further impact what's already a strapped budget. And so we're encouraging folks to reach out to our state reps and convey to them the importance of our social services, but we do have lobbyists who work on behalf specifically of the library at the state level.
Thank you.
Brittany, I just want to comment for the return on our investment for the library. I wish I could invest money like that. Where your operating budget's what, $284,000 for operations, and your calculator, your economic impact equivalent is what, over $7,500,000. And I kind of wanted to just say that so people who aren't looking at these slides, they know
Thank
the
you.
value
Yes.
of it, and the others in the room. That's a great investment. And the library, you run a great ship down there. The people, the folks I interact with are friendly. The place is clean. It's maintained, and that just sets a nice image. And the mural on the wall is just a cool idea. The one outside there is like that. It's people who think of these things and pull it off is pretty neat. So it's neat creativity that we have access to because of how close we are to the library. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Last thing on those story walks, just in the last 3 days, I took pictures at 2 different communities of their story walks. So we'll be in touch because we're adding a trail. I got pictures of Boscoville, Wisconsin, and where the other place, it was somewhere else, but anyway, I got photos. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, at this point, it's my honor to proclaim West Burlington a Purple Heart City, and I am going to read the proclamation. And then I think I will ask our visitors here to introduce themselves and maybe say why you're here for this particular ceremony. So, whereas the residents of West Burlington have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country and this community in the armed forces, and whereas veterans have paid the high price of freedom by leaving their families and communities and placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and whereas the Purple Heart was the first American Service Award or decoration made available to the common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in combat with a declared enemy of the United States, and whereas the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart is to foster an environment of goodwill among the combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure we never forget. Therefore, I, Ron Teeter, Mayor of the City of West Burlington, do hereby proclaim the City of West Burlington as a Purple Heart City and encourage the citizens of West Burlington to show their appreciation for the sacrifices of the Purple Heart recipients have made in defending our freedoms, to acknowledge their courage, and to show them the honor and support they deserve. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of the City of West Burlington on this 4th day of October in the year 2023. Thank you.
Can I do a picture really quick?
Why don't you go
We'll
around?
just do it this way. I'll have this open and we'll show this as we... I brought along Purple Heart and Silver Star if you want. You
Yes,
can pass them along if you want.
thank you. When were you awarded yours, Mr. McAllister?
Purple Heart was, actually the first time I was in it was
March 21st, 1969. Then I was injured,
In Vietnam?
yeah. April 7th was the last time, and that was a booby trap grenade, and that's when I was evacuated out of the country.
I'm glad you made it out.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for that.
I got the Silver Star too. That was for saving that fella's life on March 21st. March 21st.
Wow.
I got the Silver Star.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't get any of these medals until I was home on convalescent leave, and I got them in the mail.
Got injured 3 times in 18 days, and they couldn't kind of even catch up with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the paperwork was, yeah.
Equivalent of 3 Purple Hearts.
Wow.
Well, thank you for proclaiming West Burlington a Purple Heart City. It's the 3rd in Iowa. The first one was Council Bluffs.
Oh, wow.
It's too bad we weren't first here. But and the Purple Heart is America's oldest military decoration. It was originally established on August 7th, 1782 by General George Washington. He designed the original award, and it was called the Badge of Military Merit. And there were 3 recipients of that award, and then they were all non-commissioned officers of the Continental Army. And then it was never used until it was reestablished as the Purple Heart on February 22nd, 1932, and that was the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The Army War Department was the one that determined that or awarded that then. So the purpose of being a Purple Heart City is to honor military personnel wounded or killed in combat. My hope is that it will create interest in the city of West Burlington and why the Purple Heart is given, as many are not aware of it. Many people don't know what a Purple Heart is. And I would especially like to thank Greg Mansager, the city manager, for his work on obtaining the Purple Heart designation. I will take questions, if any. And the signs have been ordered. There's going to be 5 signs for Burlington and 5 for West Burlington, so you can't hardly miss the signs. And the Public Works Director said I could install them if I'd want, but I think I'll pass on that.
He's so generous.
So the sign, I don't have a picture of it. It's a Purple Heart, and it will have the West
Council.
Burlington name on it, won't it?
I've shared it with the council, yes. A copy of the one from the, that's being put up. It's the white version, yes. Mhm.
So it'll be about 8 weeks yet before we get them. So you got any questions?
I'd just like to thank you for your service, sir,
Oh, you're welcome.
and yours as well. Thank you.
Yeah. And you have an employee here, of course.
Walmart got killed. I can't remember his name.
What's that?
The guy from Walmart that got killed. They
That
had a
wasn't
big
Brockway, was it?
Huh?
Randall Brockway?
I'm not sure what his name was. They had a big funeral down at the auditorium. I went to it with Ned Fry. His picture's up at you forget names when you get my old age, excuse me, old, young. He worked it, I think, up here at this Walmart. I think his picture's up there. And he got shot over in Afghanistan.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought Randall Brockway lived in West Burlington, but I'm not sure.
Where his folks did or whatever.
He was killed in February of 1969. He happened to be in the same unit that I was in. Well, not really the same unit. He was in the 25th Infantry, and that's the group I was in too. But well, I just thank you for doing this, and I think it's a great thing, and
And there's probably more that,
it'll create interest in why the signs are out. Maybe
Yeah.
people will be asking.
Well, Your Honor, I did ask Brad Newberry to step out from behind the window.
Okay.
I asked our IT manager, Brad Newberry, to step out from behind the window. Brad is a Purple Heart recipient,
Oh,
and we'd like to thank
yes.
Brad for his service as well.
When they had that proclamation from, about 10 years ago?
Yeah, on's the one that he read, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
He had me bring my medal in so he could show people what it looked like. So,
Well, yeah, I didn't get my, I got a medal in the hospital. I hate to say this. Government kind of screws up.
No.
Really?
I joined the Purple Heart organization, and the lady called me, says, "Sir, you can't join." I said, "Well, why?" "Your DD-14 doesn't have the Purple Heart thing on it." So I had already sent my copy of my Purple Heart paper. Well, you know how the government is, but it's not on my DD-14. And she says, they did this pretty often back then when they were shipping people out of the service. I says, okay. She says, I'm going to send this in to St. Louis. Am I right, Francis? St.
Yeah, it'd
Louis?
be St. Louis.
St. Louis, well, they had a warehouse down there in Burlington, and mine wasn't burnt. But, she says, it'll take up to a year to get you a new copy, but I'm gonna hold on to your $50 check. Oh, I mean, you know, but if it don't come back in a year, I'll send you your check back. I said, okay. But you are a Purple Heart person, because it was on the hospital up there at Purple Heart. That's no big deal. I couldn't join the organization. So I kind of forgot about it. About a year later, I get this package in the mail, my Purple Heart, all my medals again. Plus a couple of little things on my thing. And I thought, well, I don't want, well, matter of fact, I got 3 Purple Hearts for the same thing. That's the government for you, but that's, that's no big deal. But just because I didn't have a DD-14 with Purple Heart on it. So they sent it back, and I got that package that came in the same week, and they added on a DD-15. Plus, whatever my company did after I left for Silver Star, not Silver Star for me, the company got Silver Stars for
The unit.
combat.
The unit.
And added that on there, plus she said I could apply for a Vietnam patch, or a ribbon, and about that time I was not too happy about Vietnam, so I said I ain't gonna send in $10 to get this sticker, or a ribbon, so probably should have, because it's a tourist trap now, so, yeah, I mean, that, it's one of these things, paperwork got lost in the mail, and got lost, back then.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
for making
Thank
this
you.
city.
Yeah.
And I imagine there's a few others out there that don't want to come out, but I know one guy that moved to Burlington, but, I haven't seen him. And, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we'll thank you for your service, and we're happy that we're a Purple Heart community. Thank you especially
Thank you.
for being on our team, too.
Oh, I do have one question.
It's the ones that didn't make it back that
Yeah.
What's the second city that earned the Purple Heart besides Council Bluffs?
Council Bluffs, and then Burlington, and then West Burlington.
Then us.
And
So-
we got some people in our DA, Disabled American Veterans, are from Wapello, and they're really involved in that helicopter up there. And we told them last night at our meeting, or Monday night at our meeting, they better get Waupun involved, and they said they would, you know? Because they need to get all cities in Iowa involved, you know?
Yeah, yeah, give it a shot.
Well, thank you.
Well, you've done your, thank you.
The Army has, I guess, a whole stockpile of Purple Hearts. They made a lot of them because they thought they were going to invade Japan, and so they wanted enough on hand for that. So they have a stockpile.
Let's hope they don't have to use it too much.
Let's
Yeah.
hope they never run
Yeah.
out.
Like I said, hope our National Guard out there don't get harmed by
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, any citizen inquiries about the business that we're going to conduct? Okay. In that case, we will move on to new business for the council. Our first item is to consider the final reading of an ordinance amending provisions pertaining to the liquor license and cigarette and tobacco permits.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. We should have a roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Second item of new business, we consider the final reading of an ordinance amending provisions pertaining to fiscal management.
So move.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 3, consider a quote from Phi Excavating to install an air relief valve on the 24-inch force main by SCC.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. We're not going to take it out of Mike's return, as I understand. So.
Well, we were earlier. But I've got Mike and I have a call with Tammy Wilcox and Shive Hattery. We'll get the finalized report back to council. The next step will be to determine, from our earlier recommendation, determine how to proceed, ideally with final design and phasing considerations, and funding sources as well for the ultimate project. Most likely, it will be revolving loan funds. There may be some additional proceeds available via TIF, but there's not many grant dollars available for this project. So that's why we're also going to be looking at the phased approach. Really depend on that final engineering estimate. What we're asking for tonight, there are 2 air release valves. This one needs to be repaired. The other one works occasionally. We'll probably revisit that one as well. But we'd like to get this one working to give us the best opportunity to extend the life of the current force main while we continue to work on and plan for the construction of that 11,000 feet of force main. And this is not budgeted. This will require a budget amendment. At this point in time, we do have sewer reserves. However, we're reviewing our TIF fund balance on the 10th or 11th and 12th of this month, 10th or 11th, 11th and 12th. And there'll be several items, including our comp planning process that we'll be bringing forward, likely the stormwater master planning process. And based on our fund balance, that will be another option as well that we'll be able to utilize.
Where's the other relief valve that we'll do next?
Closer to the lift station itself, on the,
Corner of Mount
Side.
Pleasant and Houston Street.
that one works intermittently.
That's the one that got concrete put in it.
No, where's the one that's, the other one though?
The one we're gonna replace, where the breaks are, where we know the pipe's thin and
Right.
we've had the issues, so.
This is the one on SCC campus or in that
Yep.
area that we want to replace now. And then the other ones, they're at the corner of Mount Pleasant and Houston.
There's a-
That's concrete. Got
And then there's a third one.
Third one's in front of Target, is the only operating one we have for the whole 1,100 feet.
What's changed? We knew this wasn't working. We knew the other one had issues. We hadn't planned to do this change. What happened to make us go ahead?
In the investigation and being in there and seeing the condition of it, that it could just blow off the line at any time. So that we need to get this one replaced with a working one. And then we'll probably fill that manhole with the old one full of concrete because there's no banding it. It's in bad shape, just to seal it so it won't blow off.
If you recall, they gave
It's
us
our only
3.
protection to relieve the air pressure.
Yeah.
It has, I fully believe going to the VFDs in the West Lift Station, which make their 50 or 90 horse motors ramp up slowly with pressure, where before them were just starters in there, this boom, you just instant pressure and slamming that main. I think that's helping us from having more brakes, but we also need to remove the air out down there to, it's just a cushion until we can get it designed and get started replacing it. I mean, if we do phases, to me, that would be the first end we would want to work on, because that's where the problems have been.
If you recall, we were hoping to do further investigation, but the first 2 options didn't work out, and the cost has gone up exponentially. And based on our earlier discussion, those 3 additional options were in the $100,000
they were
range
up
plus.
300,000, and they're cleaning the lines, and we don't want something going through there banging around trying to clean them. And
Just doesn't
to
make
getting
sense.
that equipment, cutting the line open, getting equipment in, resealing it, then retrieving it at the other end, and it can only go, they were talking, I looked it up, possible 5 places to cut open and reset this machine, and that's, to me, is just way too dangerous. We don't want to open up that main any more than what we have to.
And the ability to reuse this air release valve on the new
Yes,
project?
this air release, when the new one's put in, can just be unscrewed out of this manhole and put onto the new one, wherever that area is located, where the new one will be. There'll be a new valve in there, and this can just be unscrewed off and put in. So it's one air relief we won't have to purchase for the new line, but
Didn't we have a break close to that area?
Yes.
I remember a fountain of,
yes.
Motion before the council then?
and if something goes wrong, it says that we'll provide the materials. If something goes wrong, that we have to bigger mess to fix on their bid.
I have
Be on standby.
I have the materials ready for a break, because otherwise you get a break and somebody's driving to Des Moines or somewhere else, and them 2 clamps for each side were $8,000 a piece. So if a break happens, it's very expensive, and doing this job is going to be dangerous, and they're aware of it, to expose the line and tap it. The potential of a pipe cracking while they're working is very possible, and then it could be a replacement of a chunk of pipe to do this. I mean,
And do we have a day like when we're gonna do this, or a week we're gonna do this on
As soon
my
as possible,
downtown?
this fall.
As soon as possible.
yeah, when I go on vacation,
Just cancel vacations.
it'll all depend on the materials, trying to get stuff here. But I can call them tomorrow and start having them order stuff. It'll just be when all of it gets here.
That's your Christmas bonus. How about that?
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. No other citizen inquiries, I would.
Your
Honor?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
I had something that I failed to mention earlier I'd like to discuss with our coffee and conversations. Were we going to discuss another time frame on that? Maybe try the evening hours since we've got such low attendance.
Drink coffee in the evening, you'll be up all night.
I just finished my coffee. I'm doing fine.
I can drink it all night long. Actually, Teresa and I were having the conversation on earlier today on the way back. we want to try multiple locations, multiple time frames, see what works best. You know, we could reach out on social media as well to see what works best for folks as well, but try to hit multiple time frames, days of the week, just to try to mix it up and see where we get the best response, and continue to try so to get that engagement, which you really need to do.
Well, I think the other ones, I think the most people we've had is like 3.
You know, I wish McDonald's was in town because it's one location that actually works well. Grocery stores work well as well in the mornings, but yeah, we'll find some good locations.
Okay, just means
Well,
everybody's happy.
Football.
Even if we have it at like City Hall, I think people feel comfortable coming here is to go, I don't know, at the bar or.
I was thinking too, if we do some kind of newsletter or something where we can just go ahead and put the dates out there
For
all
the
at
year.
once, rather than just kind of sporadically doing it, and just kind of play off of that list might help too. It's just so hard to know how people, if we ever do a survey, that's what I want to know, is how people like to be notified of things, because it's just hard to reach them.
So we have our next one coming up, what, the 19th of October from 8 to 10?
At the mall.
At the mall, right, that's still on the calendar, we're still
That's-
gonna do it.
Yeah, that's the last, we changed it from the Tuesday because that was the chamber, a day they have a meeting at the chamber, so that was kind of tying up. The Andy goes to that, Greg goes to that. So we changed it to Thursday, trying to stay in the
That's
same
fine.
week, so you're not, don't have something going every single week with us.
So then you're bringing coffee and donuts?
I'm gonna be out of town actually for
Since
that
there's
one.
nothing at the food court,
There's nothing at the food court.
not at 8 o'clock in the morning.
We were getting the Lost Bear.
Yeah, right across this, right in the
I
mall.
mean, we talked about getting
Yeah.
coffee from Lost Bear, and they also have, we haven't done, I didn't say snacks and donuts or anything. I can make up another batch of those cookies down there.
Well, there's a thought.
Doesn't hurt.
I'm fine with that.
But I think they have the carrying
They're the
pieces,
coffee cake,
carrying
yeah.
coffee that you can gather up. So,
But I also think it'd be a good idea to just kind of go in the mall again, everybody, and just see what's there and what's not there,
It's
and
not there.
Well, and there's people who regularly meet there in the morning, so maybe we'll have to ask them to stop and talk and stop walking a bit,
walkers.
but
Sitting there.
it's another chance to
Yeah.
reach out to different folks and,
I'm under the same agreement that we need to reach out as many ways as
yeah,
possible.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I know, as a working citizen, it's kind of hard to hit some of those.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can ask the people there, how can we make this work better? But so far, we haven't hit the button, right? Maybe a football game or a concert or parent-teachers night at the school.
How about cheerleaders hold up signs for us?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll work.
That's not crazy.
No,
Art show, play, we set a little table and chair there, and during intermission, come chat.
Greg and I could host a Whiskey Wednesday across the street, or
Okay.
Sold on that. You're buying the whiskey, right?
I second that motion. I just had one quick thing, Your Honor. I see these were handed out tonight, give you a chance to read these. Sarah Bonsack will be attending electronically as she did last year to review it. I just wanted to point out one item on page 52, the second paragraph. When you're looking at it, you'll see, and it goes through definitions here of significant deficiency and material weakness. So when you're reading through here, and you see significant deficiency versus material weakness, last year you would have seen material weakness. Material weakness is actually worse than significant deficiency. It doesn't sound that way, though. I just wanted to point that out when you're reading through here. The audit is good, and there's some things that frankly just aren't going to change. And but I just wanted to point those two terms out on page 52. There's a definition, and it was a good audit, and Angie's first full one went well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no other discussion, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.